This conference will now be recorded.
Hi friends, good morning. As part of last session, we have seen what is JPA repository and why we need to use this JPA repository and how it is different from CRUD repository, right? So in the Spring Data JPA, these two repositories are very important to perform CRUD operations. One is CRUD repository and another one is a JPA repository. CRUD repository and CRUD repository and JPA repository are predefined interfaces available in Spring Data JPA. They're available in Spring Data JPA. These interfaces provided several methods to perform. These interfaces provided several methods to perform CRUD operations. Using JPA repository, we can perform pagination and sorting also. We can perform pagination and sorting also, which is not supported by CRUD repository. Yesterday we have seen the clear picture. What is the relation between CRUD repository and JPA repository? JPA repository extending the properties from pagination sorting repository and query by example extractor repository. Pagination and sorting repository extending the properties from CRUD repository. CRUD repository extending the properties from that repository interface. So there is a relation. We need to understand that relation. So when we have seen that relation, we realized that JPA repository providing more methods when compared with the CRUD repository. So that's why JPA repository is called as superior to the CRUD repository. Now, so yesterday we have seen a method called find all method. So retrieving records using JPA repository. So in order to retrieve the records in the JPA repository, we have find all method. Similarly, we have find all of sort method and we have find all of pageable method. Find all of pageable, retrieving records using JPA repository, right? So to retrieve records from the JPA repository, we can use below methods. To retrieve records from table using JPA repository, we can use below methods. One is called find all, second one find all for sorting, find all for pageable. So now when to go for these methods, what are the scenarios? So here this method retrieves all records. So just we need to call the find all. Same method is supported by CRUD repository also, which is used to retrieve all the records from the table. Next, find all with sorting. Retrieve records based on order by class. Retrieve records based on order by class. So either age highest value to lowest value, lowest value to highest value, person name, natural sorting order or descending order, price, ascending order, descending order. If you want to do some sorting of the records, if you want to apply some sorting on the data, then you can go for find all sort. So what is the syntax that we are writing for this sort method? Yesterday we have seen repository dot find all of sort dot by your property, sort dot by your property name dot. If you don't specify anything, then default will be ascending order. If at all requires, then you can go for descending order also. Like this. So either you can sort the data on the ascending order or in the descending order. Sorting you can do on the particular column or sorting you can do on more than one column also. Here By method is taking variable arguments. By method, sort dot by method parameter is var args. Sort method sort dot by like this. Sort dot by, right? So we can sort based on, we can sort more than, based on more than one column also. We can apply more than one column. Because the by method is supporting for variable arguments. The intention of the variable arguments, method parameters are not fixed. You can pass a number of parameters according to your requirement. Next, this one is pageable. So yesterday we have seen first two methods. Find all method we have seen, which is used to retrieve all the records from the table. Now we have seen, yesterday itself we have seen find all with the sorting technique also. Now today we need to talk about find all of pageable. Used to retrieve records based on pagination. Used to retrieve records based on pagination. So if you want to apply pagination in our application, then we should go for find all method with the pageable object. Right now, so today we need to talk about what is pagination, why we need pagination, how many ways we can implement pagination, which type of pagination is recommended, working with pagination in JPA repository, using JPA repository. So this is the agenda for today's session. What is pagination? Why we need pagination? How many ways we can implement pagination? Which type of pagination is recommended in project? Working with pagination using JPA repository. How to work with pagination using JPA repository. So these are the concepts that we are going to discuss in the today's session. These concepts are very, very, very important when we are working with a web application for customer to business. Pagination concept is very, very, very important for every web application development. Guys, all of you clear with today's agenda? Just I recalled what we discussed in the last session. Now we are going to start with what is pagination concept for today, right? So shall we move further? All of you clear with the today's agenda? Fine. So what is pagination? Why we need pagination? How many ways we can implement pagination? Which type of pagination is recommended in project? Working with pagination using JPA repository. So these concepts we are going to understand as part of our today's class. Please concentrate. Anybody having any questions in the middle of the session? If you get any question, please keep it with you and ask that question at the end of the session. I will give some time for you at the end. You can clarify your doubts at the end of the session. So, but in the middle of the session, please don't unmute your mics. Please don't disturb the class. Right, let's get started. Now, in web application, in so many pages, we are going to display the data from the tables, right? So in the web application, we are going to store the data into database tables. In every application, the data will be stored to database tables. Now, in the web application, we need to retrieve those records. we need to retrieve the records from the table and we need to display those records to the user, right? My table may contain 10 records, my table may contain 100 records, my table may contain 1000, my table may contain 1 lakh. So now assume that my table contains 10 records. My table contains 10 records. Now 10 records I will display in the form like this. So this is my JSP or my UI component. In this UI component, I'm going to display what are the records available in my table. Like this, the records I am going to display in the form or in the page, right? Because only there are 8 records are available. Those 8 records I'm going to display in the form like this. Now let's assume that my table contains 1000 records. So it looks very ugly when I display those 1000 records in the single page. This doesn't look good when I display 1 lakh records in the single page. Are you able to understand this? So in the database table, we can have n number of records. Now I want to display those total records in my application. If you have 10 records or 15 records, you can display within one page. But if you have 1 lakh records in the table, 1 million records in the table, it is not going to look good if you display 1 lakh records in the single page, right? That's where in the web application, we are going to implement a concept called pagination concept. We are going to implement a concept called pagination concept, right? So what is pagination? The process of dividing total records into multiple pages is called as pagination. The process of dividing total number of records into multiple pages is called as pagination, right? So in my table there are 1 lakh records are available. In my table 1 lakh records are available. Those 1 lakh records I don't want to display in the page. 1 lakh records I will display in multiple pages. 1 lakh records I am going to display in multiple pages. So do I need to retrieve all the records from the table or I don't need to retrieve? That depends on what type of pagination we are going to use. So first of all, what is pagination? The process of dividing total records into multiple pages is called as pagination, right? So now in web applications, we are going to implement this kind of paginations, right? Now the best example is our Gmail, and another example is our Google. These applications are implemented based on pagination only, right? Now let me go to my mail. Let me go to my Gmail. Now when we go for the Gmail, by default it will point to inbox. So it is going to display the mails which are available in the inbox, right? Now so here if you observe, in my inbox contains 657 emails. My inbox contains 657 total mails I received to this mail is 657. But are they displaying all the 657 emails here, or they are not displaying all the 657 emails here? They are not displaying all the 657 emails here. They are displaying only first 50 emails here. They are displaying only first 50 emails here. Now if I want the next 50, then I will click on this button, next button. Now they will get from 51 to 100. Now so 51 to 100 they are going to get. When I click on once again, 101 to 150. Now 51 to 100. If I click next, they are loading the data from the table. Right now they displayed 101 to 150. Now if I click on next once again they are loading the data from the table. So 151 to 200. That means in my inbox total 657 records are available. 657 records are available, but what the Gmail project is doing, Gmail project is not retrieving 657 emails at a time. Unnecessarily, why to load all the data from the table? First let us display only 50 emails to the user. Let us display only 50 emails to the user, right? If a user wants other emails, user will send one more request. Then we will load that load. Then we will load that data. That means when you go for pagination, on demand basis, your data will be loaded. Every time the complete data will not be loaded. Why? Because unnecessarily, why to increase burden on the server? Why to increase burden on the server? So what the Gmail project is doing, whenever you log in into your mail, first they will retrieve only 50 records. So that is called pagination only. So total my inbox showing that there are 657 emails are there, but 657 emails they are not displaying in the single page. First page they are displaying only 50. When I click on the next page, then again they are loading only 50. When I click on the next page, again they are loading 50. Like that, they divided my total mail, my inbox mails into multiple pages. That process is called as a pagination. So come on. So did you understand what is pagination? The process of dividing total records into multiple pages is called as pagination. So Google Gmail is one example. Now let's go to Google browser. Right. I will just search with Ashok IT. Just I'm searching with Ashok IT. So whenever I search with Ashok IT, see how many results are coming. See here, how many results are coming for this string? Just I searched with Ashok IT, these many results are coming. These many results are coming. Now, does Google is displaying all those results to me in the single page, or they are not displaying all the results in the single page? They are not displaying all the results in the single page. They displayed only few records. First link, second link, third, fourth, fifth, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and here the videos are displaying 10th. Only 10 rows are displaying, only 10 records are displaying when I search for some string in the Google. Not only this Ashok IT. Let's try with microservices interview questions. Microservices interview questions. When I search for this microservices interview questions, again here we are getting 7,60,000 results. So whatever the string I am searching in the Google, for that 7,60,000 records are available in the Google. So in the Google database there are 7,60,000 records are available for the given string. Now are they displaying all those records here? Are they displaying all those records here? No, they are not displaying all those records here. They are not displaying all those records here. They are displaying only 10 records. They are displaying only 10 records. Below, they are giving page numbers. Below, they are giving page numbers. Now, when I click on this number 2, then again, some records they are retrieving. Few more records they are retrieving. Again, when I click on this 3, then again they are loading few records. So that means on demand basis, they are loading the data from the table to improve performance of the application. Suppose if they don't load like that, if they load all the 7 lakh records one time, unnecessarily in the JVM, those records has to be stored. Unnecessarily memory will be wasted, and quickly your application will run into out of memory problem. Your application will run into out of memory problem. That's the reason we don't retrieve all the records from the table at a time. We don't retrieve all the records from the table at a time. If your table contains 100 records, 50 records, then no problem. When the table contains lakhs of records, if the table contains millions of records, if the table contains crores of records, then if you write find all method, then your server will die immediately. The reason 1 crore records it has to retrieve and it has to store in the memory. So very quickly your memory consumption will be completed and your JVM will be shut down due to lack of memory. So that is called out of memory problem. That is called out of memory problem. So how to resolve this problem? Don't retrieve all the records from the table at a time. Apply pagination concept. So what is this pagination? The process of dividing total records into multiple pages is called pagination. The process of dividing total records into multiple pages is called as pagination. Why we need this pagination? There are several advantages are available. First one, we can improve performance of the application, and so our application looks beautiful. If I display 1 lakh records, it looks very ugly. If I display only 10 records, short and sweet. So application UI looks great when you display only few records instead of displaying all the records. And the second one, users also will get interested. Users also will get interested to use our application. They will click multiple links. If they are not satisfied with the first page, then they will go for second page. Then we will get one click to the website. Then they will go to third page. We will get one click to the website. So several advantages are there when we go for pagination. Using pagination, we can display. Using pagination, we can display the data which is really required for a user. Which is really required for user. Using pagination, we can save server memory. Using pagination, we can save server memory. No need to store all the records from the table at a time. Application looks beautiful. Application looks beautiful. Application looks beautiful, right? More number of clicks will come to the application. More number of clicks will come to the application. Like that, there are several advantages are available when we implement pagination in our application, right? So I hope you understood what is pagination and why we need to go for pagination. Example, Gmail using pagination to display mails. Google search results using pagination to display the data. Google search engine. Using pagination to display search results. Right. Gmail, just now I have shown you only 50 records are displaying, but actually my records are 657. But in the first page it is displaying only 50 records. That is called pagination. When I search for something in the Google, lakhs of records are coming, but they are not displaying all those lakhs of records at a time. They are displaying only few records for us. That is called as pagination. What are the advantages of going for this pagination? Using pagination, we can divide total records into multiple pages. We can display the data which is really required for us. Using pagination, we can save server memory, and application looks beautiful when you implement that pagination, and more number of clicks will come to application when you implement a pagination. Right. Two examples I have shown you. One is the Gmail project, another one is Google search engine. Right. Now, I hope all of you clear with this. What is this pagination? And one more thing, one more example. Our e-commerce websites. Will be available. Go to Facebook also using the pagination concept. Go to Flipkart. Search for some mobile. Electronics mobiles. Choose some company name. Some Samsung. Choose some company name as a Samsung. Now, if you observe this screen, this screen is not loaded fully. You can see this bar, progress bar is there. When I am scrolling the progress bar, When I'm scrolling that progress bar, it is going to load the data dynamically. Now there are so many latest Samsung mobiles are available, but what option they are giving? View all. View all. When I click on that view all, some products are loaded. Some products are loaded. Now I'm scrolling, the products are loaded here. Now what happened? Page 1 of 23. So whatever the records they are having, they are not displaying in the single page. This Flipkart application not displaying the records in the single page. Now they divided total records into 23 pages. The reason, if they display in one page, user may not feel comfortable. End user may not like that UI when they display all these mobiles in the single page. Assume that they are having 1000 models for the Samsung. So 1000 models are there. They don't want to display 1000 models in the single page. That's why few models they are displaying here, and for the remaining models they have given page numbers. They have given page numbers here. When I click on 2, the remaining records it is going to load. Right. Now when I click on 3, few more records they are going to retrieve. So this is called as a pagination. This is called as a pagination. I hope you are able to understand what is this pagination. So in the real applications, we are able to see where the pagination is available. One more application, Flipkart loads products using pagination. Flipkart application is loading product records by using pagination only. So page numbers are displayed. They are not retrieving all the records at a time. They are retrieving few records. If you want, then click on the page number. Then they will retrieve remaining records. Now you may get a question, sir, why they are not retrieving all the records at a time? Why they can't retrieve only one time? They can retrieve only one time. As simple as it is. Select start from table name. Then they will get all the records. But what is the problem is memory. The problem is memory. Unnecessarily, all the records we are going to store in the memory, then server may run into out of memory problems. To avoid these problems only, we don't retrieve all the records from the table at a time. We are going to implement a concept called pagination. So pagination nothing but divide total records into multiple pages. There are several advantages of going for pagination. In the real world, 3 famous applications I have shown you which are using pagination. Every day we are going to use these applications in our daily life. Gmail, Google, e-commerce websites we are using in our daily life. Those applications are implemented by using pagination. Similarly, in our applications also we need to implement this kind of pagination. Guys, all of you clear with the introduction part of the pagination? What is pagination? What are the advantages? The real-time examples of the pagination. If you are clear, please confirm, then we'll move further step. Fine. Now we can implement this pagination in 2 ways. We can implement this pagination in 2 ways. Pagination in an application, we can implement pagination in 2 ways. One is called server-side pagination, and the second one is client-side pagination. One is called as server-side pagination, second one is called client-side pagination. So there are 2 ways to implement pagination in our project. So either you can implement server-side pagination or you can implement client-side pagination. Server-side pagination means we'll deal with the database table. Right? So I don't retrieve all the records from the table at a time when I go for server-side pagination. Server-side pagination means loading the data from the database on demand basis. Client-side pagination means retrieve all the records at a time. Retrieve all the records from the table at a time, and they will maintain that data in the memory. Now let us see, let us compare what is this server side pagination. In this approach, we will retrieve data from database based on page number. When a user lands on the first page, only first page data we are going to retrieve. First 10 records only we are going to retrieve by using this server side pagination. Right. In this approach, we will retrieve data from database based on page number. For every page load, database query will execute. For every page load, DB query will execute to retrieve page specific data. For every page load, DB query will execute to retrieve page specific data. Now, suppose when I logged into Gmail, first page requires only 50 records. It will retrieve only first 50. Latest 50 it is going to retrieve. When I click on the next button, next 50 it is going to retrieve. When I click on the next button, next 50 it is going to retrieve. So for every page load, one database query will execute to retrieve page specific data. Here also, if you observe, they are displaying some records. These records they retrieved from the database. Now I am in the third page. Now when I click on fourth page, page is loading. That means from the DB they retrieved some data. They retrieved few more records from the database. So this is called page specific data. This data will be displayed only in this page. This data will be displayed only in this page called fourth page. When I click on one, then first page specific data will be displayed. The data will be displayed which is specific to first page, right? So whenever I click on a page number, then one database query will execute to retrieve page specific data, right? To retrieve page specific data from the table, to retrieve page specific data from table, we will use row number concept in SQL query. To retrieve page specific data from the table, we will use row number concept in the SQL query, because my table contains 1000 records, but I want only first 10 records, right? For that we will go for row number. Whenever we are implementing server side pagination, our SQL queries should use row number concept. Based on the row number only they will decide how many records they need to retrieve, right? Here advantage is there, disadvantage is also available. What are the advantages? Of this? What are the advantages? Memory will be saved. When you go for server side pagination, memory will be saved. What are the disadvantages? For every page load, DB query will execute. For every page load, DB query will execute. Because for that page only we are retrieving the data. When a user land on the second page, that second page data also we need to retrieve. When a user land on the third page data we need to retrieve by executing a query. So for every page load, DB query will execute. This is the disadvantage. But what is the advantage? Memory will be saved. Only page specific data we are going to retrieve from the table. This is called loading the data based on the user demand. That is called on-demand data loading. If user go to second page, load then second page data. If user go to third page, then load third page data. So that is called on-demand basis page loading. On-demand basis page data is loading. Gmail also doing this server-side pagination. Google also doing server-side pagination. Flipkart also doing the server-side pagination. When a user really wants more data, then the user will go to the second page. But most of the times, you have done so many searches in the Google. Have you ever used the Google link from the second page? You have done so many searches in the Google, right? Have you ever been to second page of the Google? Always you will choose option from the first page. 99.9% of the people across the world will get the result and will choose the result in the first page only. Very rare people will go to second page in the Google. Now third page, fourth page, fifth page, very minor. Right? Now you confirm in this batch, did anybody has been to second page of the Google whenever you search for something? You might have searched for resume preparation, you might have searched for interview questions, right? Have you been to second page? Once in 10 times. Good. Once in some of them are not even seen how the second page of the Google looks like. That is the difference, right? Now whenever 1000 people search for something in the Google, whenever 1000 people search for something in the Google, so 999 people will not go for at least 900 people will not go for the second page. Now tell me, if Google is retrieving the 1 lakh records at a time from the table and storing in the memory, is there any advantage of that? Or it is unnecessarily wasting the memory? Unnecessarily it is wasting the memory. You are not even end user not even going for the second page. Then why to load the 10th page data also? 90%, 95% of the people are not even going for the second page of the Google. Then why to load that 1 lakh records at a time or 7 lakh records at a time? Now see, when I search for this, in the Google, now let me go to Google. Let me search for microservices interview questions. Now, so when you search for some interview questions here, you will choose any one link from this page only. You don't even go to the second page. If people are, there is no guarantee. People will go to the second page or will not go to the second page. There is no guarantee for the Google. Right? People may go or may not go. But people who are going, that is also very rare condition. Out of 1000, we can say 10-15 people may go to the may visit the second page. 5 people may visit the third page. Fourth page visitors are very rare. Fourth page visitors in the Google are very rare. Now, when Google knows this, then why Google has to retrieve the 7 lakh records at a time? That is the question. How many records are matching for my query? 7 lakh records are matching. 7 lakh records are matching. If Google retrieves and display 7 lakh records in a single page, do you like that design or you don't like that design? We don't like that. Array display only few records for me. If I am not satisfied with those, then only I will go for the next record. Why you are displaying all 1 lakh records to me in the single page? It looks very ugly. So that's the reason we are going to implement pagination. So how many ways we can implement pagination? Please confirm. Two ways. First one, server side pagination. In server side pagination, we don't retrieve all the records from the table. We will retrieve the records which are required for only that page. We will retrieve the records which are applicable for that page. Right, fine. Now, what are the advantages of going for this server side pagination? What is the purpose of going for server side pagination? Memory will be saved. Unnecessarily we don't store all the 1 lakh records or 7 lakh records in the JVM. We will store only 30 records or 10 records which are specific to that page. But what is the disadvantage? performance will be down. Why performance will be down? Whenever you click on a page number, one database query will execute to retrieve the data from the table. So more recurring network calls will be available, database calls will be available when you go for server side pagination. Right. Now, if table data is very huge, table data is very huge, then recommended to implement, when table data is huge, then recommended to implement server side pagination. When table data is huge, then recommended to implement server side pagination. Recommended to implement, suppose if your table contains 1 million records, then go for server side pagination. Your table contains lakhs of records, go for server side pagination, right? Fine. So if the table data is very huge, then it is recommended to go for server side pagination. Now, what is client side pagination? Can anybody guess what is client side pagination? Come on. In client-side pagination, which records should be displayed for the page will be decided at the browser side, will be decided by the client technology. Here, we are going to retrieve all the records from the table at a time and will manage at the browser by using some JS libraries. We'll manage the data at the client side by using JS libraries. Pagination will be implemented at the client side. Client side pagination means in this approach, we will retrieve all records from table at a time and will manage at client side, and will manage records display at client side. There are several JS libraries are available to implement client side pagination. There are several JS libraries available to implement client side pagination. There are several JS libraries are available to implement client side pagination. Right. What are the advantages? Only one database query execution. Only one time DB query will execute. Only one query will execute. Only one time. Only one time query will execute to retrieve all records. Only one time query will execute to retrieve all records from table. All records from table. What are the disadvantages? What are the disadvantages? Irrespective whether user will use the data or not, we are loading the data from the table and we are storing in the server memory. Server memory will be wasted. Server memory will be wasted when we go for this approach. Unnecessarily, all the records we are retrieving from the table and we are storing at the client side. That means we are storing at the server and the data is coming to the client. At the client side we have to manage. So unnecessarily memory will be wasted. Server memory will be wasted. If table data is very small, then we can go for client side pagination. If table data is, if the table size is small, if table data is less, then we can implement client side pagination. Now, if I have only 50 records, why to execute multiple queries to retrieve 50 records? 50 records I can store in the memory, then go for client side pagination. If I have 1 million records, then don't retrieve all the records at a time, then go for server side pagination. So when to go for which pagination, it depends upon the nature of the table. If the table contains huge amount of data, then pagination we need to, server side pagination we need to use. If the table data is very small, below 100 records only available, then client side pagination is sufficient for that. So you need to decide which one we need to implement for our project. Just go through these points once. Just read these points once. What is pagination and why we need to go for pagination? All of you. Just go through these points. All of you reading or not? Right. So with this, we understood what is pagination, what are the advantages, how many types, and when to go for which one. Anybody has any questions, please text me in the chat box. Anybody, any questions related to the pagination part? Clear. Right. Now, so here, first, here, whenever MVC course starts for us, at that time I will show you the pagination, the web application. Now, in the back end, directly we are going to perform the pagination to retrieve the records. Right now, so let us go for our table. Select star from. One second, let me execute the query. Select star from contacts master. Select star from contacts master. This will give you all the records available in the table. This will give you all the records available in the table. Only 3 records, I can't show you that. Let me take another table. Contact details. Select a star from contact details. Now there are 10 records are available. There are 10 records are available with C underscore ID, C underscore name, C underscore number. Now, first I want to retrieve, my page size is only 3 records. Here if I have 10 records, then how it looks like, the 10 records are available, first record, second record, third record. Now, here I will give page numbers like this. Page number 1, page number 2, page number 3, page number 4. Right now, here 3 records will be displayed. 3 records will be displayed. This will be assumed that one table date record, and this is one record, and this is one record. And these are the page numbers. And these are the page numbers. So first time when you land on this application, first 3 records will be displayed to you. So those 3 records are displaying. John Smith Charles record will be displayed. When you click on this page number 2, then remaining 3 records will be displayed for you. These 3 records will be displayed for you in the, these records from 4, 5, 6. These 3 records will be displayed for you. When you click on this third page, then 7, 8, 9 records will be displayed to you. When you click on this fourth page, the only one record is available pending, that one record will be displayed to you. So like this, the table data will be organized into multiple tables. Table data will be organized into multiple tables. All of you clear with this one? Now here what I am choosing, I'm choosing my page size as 3. I'm choosing my page size is equal to 3. That means per page I want to display only 3 records. So total there are 10 records are available. 10 records should be displayed in the 4 pages. Per record, per page 3. 3 into 3 only 9. But extra one record is there. That record will go to the next page, that is called 4th page. Google page size is 10 records. Google page size is 10 records. This Flipkart page size, they are having more. They are displaying multiple records in the single page only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So per page they are displaying 17 records per page. That means everybody will decide their own page size. Google page size is 10 records, right? That Flipkart page size is 17 records, like that. Everybody will decide the page size. Now here I decided the page size as 3. You can choose any number. You can display 4 records per a page. You can display 10 records per a page. You can display 20 records per a page. So in every application they will decide what is the page size. Generally in the Gmail page size is 50. Gmail page size is 50. Flipkart page size is 17. Google page size is 10, like that. So in every application they will decide how many records should be displayed in a page. Now if I decided to display 3 records in a page, now to display the 10 records, how many pages are required? 3 into 3, 9, extra 1 record is there, so 1 extra page is required. So total I need 4 pages to display 10 records. Suppose if I choose my page size as 5, if I choose my page size as 5, I want to display 5 records in the single page. Then total there are 10 records available, so only 2 pages are sufficient. Only 2 pages are sufficient to display the data. First page 5 records, second page 5 records. So before going to start the pagination, first we need to decide what is the page size. Based on the page size, then we will understand how many pages are going to be available to display all these records. Are you able to follow this? What is the first important thing for the pagination? Deciding page size. When we are going for pagination, we need to decide page size. Right. Next point. When we are implementing pagination, first we should decide page size. First we need to decide page size. So here some examples we have seen. Gmail page size 50 records. 50 mails will display at a time. Google page size 10 records. Google page size 10 records. Flipkart page size 17 records. That's it. Like this, for every application they will decide page size. Page size represents how many records should be displayed. First we should decide page size. Page size means the number of records that should be displayed in the page. Page size means the number of records should be displayed in a page. Should be displayed in a page. You can decide any number according to your requirement. Your client will tell you how many records you need to display in the page. So Gmail is choosing 50, Google has chosen 10, Flipkart has chosen 17. Similarly, in our applications we can choose 3, 5, 10, 20, 40, whatever you want. You can just choose the page number. Page size you need to choose. All of you clear with this one? So first important thing that you should know when we are going for pagination is page size. Page size. Now here let me go to our contacts master table only. Let me insert few records for that. Contact master. Insert into contacts master 104, some Peter, some number. Insert into contact master values. Yeah, one record inserted with 104, 105, some Raju, 106 some Rani, 107 some Suresh, 108 Mahesh, 109 some Rajesh, 109 sorry, 109. Now 110 some Sunil. Fine. Now let me commit. Now select the records from the table. Select star from contacts. Now I am having 10 records in the table. Now I want to set my page size as 3. Then what is required? So here it is going to give you page size as 3. Then total 4 pages are required because 10 records are available in the table. Now let me tell you how to implement this in the data JPA. Today I will write the code and I will show you the example. Tomorrow I will talk about internals of that, how exactly that is happening. Contacts master repository.java. Today I will show you the piece of code, just 2 lines of code we need to write, sir. Tomorrow we'll understand more details about it, internals. Right. No. Let me comment this also. If I execute this find all, what will happen? Come on, tell me. If I execute find all, what will happen? If I execute find all, what will happen? Fetch all the records. Now here I will set like this. Int page size is equal to 3. Int page size is equal to 3. And integer page number is equal to 0. Is 0 nothing but 1. Int page number is equal to 0. 0 means first page. Right. Now I will create a page request object. I'm going to create one page request object. One second, it is loading. Yeah. In the data JPA, we are having a class called page request. Page request dot off. It is asking page number and it is asking page size. It is going to give you pageable object, page request object. Now I can pass this page request object as a parameter to find all method. I can pass this page request object to find all method. Right. Now, one second. I'm commenting this too. Now it will be page data. From this page data dot get page content. Then list. Right. So don't worry about the code. Code we will understand tomorrow. Just I want to show you the example today. Now here I am setting page size as 3, page number is equal to 0. That means I want to display 3 records. So first page retrieve the data. I'm telling to the data JPA, hey data JPA, I want to display the data for page number 0. That means it is 1. Page 0 means 0, index starts from 0. Index starts from 0. Right. It means first page. Index starts from 0, it is first page. Now I am telling to the data JPA, hey data JPA, you retrieve the data for my first page. My page size is 3. So then what we'll do, this data JPA will divide the 10 records into 4 pages. 10 records into 4 pages. Now let's verify. Right click, run as, right click, run as boot application. See how many records are going to come. Is creating a connection pool. No. So it retrieved only 3 records. How it executed that? Select a star from this based on the row number concept. Based on the row number concept, it is retrieving the data from the table. Right. Now, if I set page number as 1, if I set the page number as 1, then now currently what records we got? 3 records we got. Peter, Raju, some Rani. Right. Peter, Raju, Rani. Right now these records we got. Now these are in the first position. Peter, Raju, Rani, these are in the first position. When I go for select star from contact master, these records are in the first position. Peter, Raju, Rami are the first records available. So 104, 105, 106, these records we got from the table. For the first page, these records we got. Page number I passed as 0. Now I am setting page number as 1. Now I am setting page number as 1. Let me do one thing. Context dot close. Yeah. Now I'm setting page number as 1. Page number as 1. Which record should come from the table? 107, 108, 109. These 3 records should come. Now check it. Run this and see the results. Now see Suresh, Mahesh, Rajesh, which records are 107, 108, 109, because those records are available in the second page position. Right. Now if I execute, Sunil, Charles, Orlin records will come when I set the page number as 2. Page number 2 means it is a third page. When I set the page number as 2, now check the records. So here Sunil, Charles, Orlin records will come. Sunil, Charles, Orlin records are coming here. Now those are the 3 records. Now extra 1 record is the, see how the query is generated. This query is generating based on the row numbers. The query generated based on the row numbers. Now it got 3 records. Now if I set the page number as 3, that means it is a 4th page, right? How many records should be displayed for the 4th page? Now how many records are pending? How many records is allocated for the 4th page? Only 1 record. Only 1 record. Yeah, Chandan, when we have a web application, then I will make it a dynamic, sir. Here it is a standalone application, right? When we have a web application, I will develop the form, I will develop the numbers in that, and when you click on that, that page records will come. Right. Where is that one record? Yeah, we'll see that. So here we are setting page size. It is a hard-coded value. We will fix this value, but this value will be dynamic. So tomorrow when the MVC classes starts, when we develop a forms like this, then I will give the numbers. When you click this number 1 here, then I will replace this value. Then I will replace this value from the UI value which is coming. It is a standalone application, so I'm fixing the value. Tomorrow when we have a web application, this page number I will read from the UI. Now how Google is reading that page number, how Flipkart is reading that page number, in the same way we will also develop a application where we will read the page number from the UI, and based on that page number we will retrieve the records from the table, right? So like this we can implement server side pagination. If you observe, for every page the query is executing and we are not retrieving all the records at a time. There are 10 records available, but we are retrieving only 3 records at a time that is required for one page. When we want to load the second page data, one more query is getting executed. All of you clear with this? How to write the code for pagination using JPA repository? Just these 2 lines of code we are doing. Page request dot off. What is the page number? What is the page size? This page number currently hard coded. Tomorrow when we start MVC classes, this will be coming from the UI dynamically. This page size is a fixed value. Page request dot off, page number comma page size, we will create a page request object. Page request object will pass as a parameter to find all method. Then it will give page data. From that page data, get the content. That content will give you list of entities. Right. I hope you can understand these 3 lines of code. Tomorrow we'll talk more about these 3 lines of code. How exactly the pagination is working in the background. So we will explain that part. So today we don't have a time to continue. So tomorrow we will see how this pagination is really working in the background. Right. Fine, sir. So tomorrow we'll see the internal parts of this pagination concept. Thank you.